Welcome back to the cave, back to fishing in the basement. It's been a long winter, and there's still a couple more months to go. And all I can think of is trying to find enough things to keep busy. And right now, boilie making is doing the trick. I must have made 50 pounds since the second week of December, but that's okay. I plan on throwing a lot out next summer. So right now I'm going to go through, how I've learned to make them the last couple years. I'm not pretending to be a professional, and I can watch YouTube videos like the rest of you, but through practice comes perfect. Come up with a couple recipes, tried all kinds last year. I like what I done. But this year I figured I'm only doing one recipe, that's pineapple banana. Seems like that's all I've been using as a hook bait. And if I can pass something on from trial and error that I've done already, let me make your mistakes and let me help you pass the time during these long cold winters. So for my boilies, ingredients. There's a lot of simple ingredients. There's a lot of ingredients we can buy at the bulk barn. Everybody's going to have their own recipe. Pretty basic recipes. I won't mix it all up for you because I mix it up in big batches and I put them in a pail, and when I'm ready to do boilies, I do my wet mix, I put my dry powder, I mix it up, I roll them, I boil them. 90 minutes later it's done, and I plan on what I'm going to do the next day. So, for ingredients, the basic ingredients are soy flour, corn flour, and semolina. Now you can add whatever you want with that to give it your own flavors and textures, and well, one thing leads to another, and sometimes we think more is good, and right now that's what I'm working on. So my soy flour, it's funny, you can buy your corn flour, your semolina, your milk powders, anything else at the bulk barn, at the grocery store, but soy flour, I find it was hard to find. I went back to the bulk barn last week, still looking for the soy flour because I'm thinking, why not? Well, I've been buying powdered milk. Skim milk powdered milk is the cheapest. Full fat is really expensive. And then I saw soya milk for like $3.29 for a pound. So I looked at the ingredients and it said soy flour, and that was basically it. And I guess they mix that with water and they make soy milk. Well, I got a use for that soy flour now. So now I can get soy flour at the bulk barn. It's called soya milk. Okay, so that's it for the soy flour. Corn flour, you can get that at the bulk barn. Semolina, real easy to get. Don't worry about that. The milk powders, well, they're expensive. And after all is said and done, am I saving money? I'm not sure, but I can guarantee the freshest bait with no preservatives in it. I'll try that for now. Other ingredients. Powdered milk, and then I thought powdered milk, wow, that's whey protein, that's whey concentrate, that's whey isolate. Those are all milk proteins. Carp like that. And what I like is that you can get them in flavors like pineapple, like banana cream. Banana cream, yeah. Banana pineapple. That's what I'm working for. Another good way to put some flavor in there in your powders. Banana cream, pie filling, pudding. Oh yeah, nice powder. Half a cup in my kilo boilie mix. Oh, nice flavor. I'm trying to put as many flavors in there as I could. I don't know if I'm overdoing it, but for right now, I can't smell anything. Oh, another important ingredients, my recycled crushed boilies. Gotta have them. Good way to get rid of your old boilies. I can't throw them away. I keep putting them in a bag, and at the end of the year, I grind them up, make a nice colored powder, and I throw that in my boilie mix too. What else? Crushed hemp. Oh, makes a nice grit inside the boilie. Oh, I hear carp like hemp, so I'm good with that. You got to put some of that in there too. So, oh yeah, don't forget the salt. I put a big tablespoon in a kilo mix. Good enough. Good enough. Yeah, that's the ingredients. I put it all. I mix it all up in 1,000 kilo mixes. 1,000 gram mixes. It usually comes out to 1,200, 1,500 grams. Mix it all together. And when I'm ready to make boilies, it's all ready to go. Okay, so now we're doing the liquids. Starts with a 6-egg mix for myself. A 6-egg mix will not give me over a kilo of finished product. Almost 2 kilos of finished product, depending on how much other additives I'm putting in there. So I start off my liquids with 6 eggs. I do a 1/4 cup of condensed milk. I'm putting in pineapple puree that I run through my Vitamix, and it made a beautiful pulp. I put that in. Flavors, all kinds of flavors. You can get all kinds of flavors at the Bulk Barn grocery store. Clubhouse, Lorraine at the Bulk Barn, at the grocery store, Cool Running, beautiful flavors. Pineapple Banana, beautiful. Drink flavors, of course, your quart of goo, yeah. Bubbly flavor, yeah, pineapple, good stuff. And then, well, you can do the CC Moore, you can do the mainline, you can get all them flavors too, and they're very concentrated flavors. And now we're talking 5 mil per kilo and stuff like that of mix. But a lot of these other home baking flavors, they're not as concentrated, so they say less is better. I have a problem with that. Maybe it's the OCD in me. Oh yeah, okay, so the liquids. And then to make everything yellow, turmeric makes everything yellow. Beautiful. And then I put some bananas in there too. There's always someone with old bananas. I throw them in the freezer. They come out black, almost liquid. Fermentation, carp like that. And then other old, fresher bananas. Yeah, gotta put some of that in there too. So, don't forget the salt. And then the flavors, well, I ain't got no sense of smell, so I gotta ask other people if it smells good or not. I'm just hoping it tastes good to the carp. So, let's mix a batch. Okay. Right, start with the turmeric first. I put that in a dry blender because I find it really hard to mix the turmeric with the egg. It is just so dry and it makes a powder cloud. And so turmeric first, that's what I do. Eggs, 6 eggs. Oh, my concentrated flavors, like the Moors, they're saying 10 mil per kilo of boilies that you're making. You should use 10 mil of flavor. Well, I've got 10 different flavors here, so I'm going to use 3 ml each of the concentrated, and I'm going to use 5 ml of the home baking stuff, and that should give me some really good flavor. Again, myself, I'm all about pineapple banana. Okay, so I'm up to 9 ml now with the concentrated stuff.
Can smell it from here.
Smells good, eh?
It does.
Okay, now, good old Clubhouse, right? At your local grocery store. 3 ml of that. I don't think it's as concentrated as the Moors in the main line, but it's all good. Bubbly drink flavors, pineapple. Oh, I want that. Now, Cool Running. Get it at grocery store. It's not as much of a concentrated flavor, so I give it 5 ml of that. 5 ml of the banana. Do I worry about making them too strong? Yeah, I do. But, you know, you throw Boilies out and you soak them in glug and you make them taste even better. Well, you know, I'm doing it right now. DT flavor. DT base, good stuff. Pineapple. Yeah, they're going to love it. Okay, tablespoon of salt. Half a cup pineapple puree. Quarter cup condensed milk. Okay, now I'll give it a good hand mix. And now I give it a little quick blend with my Ninja, because that's going to break up my banana. Frozen bananas. They look rotten, but they're not bad. And they just slide right out. Ripe bananas, yeah, they're good too. Nice and soft. Oh, they'll puree right nice. That should be good. Now, some of the Boilie making purists, they mix it by hand, they swear by hand. Well, I don't see the difference. And I get a much better blend. There's my liquid. So stay tuned, we're going to be mixing up a batch. Now I'm going to put it in my mixing bowl and I'm going to weigh it. Liquid goes in. Okay, 750 grams. Now I usually take the liquid and I multiply it by 1.6. 1.5 don't quite give me enough powdered mix. But if I multiply my liquid by 1.6, it gives me an overestimate of the powdered mix I need. And as I'm mixing, I'll know when to stop by the consistency. And that there I'll explain as we're going on. So I have one written right here, 757 times 1.6. I try to write it all down. And then I usually get an average about approximately how much my liquid works out to, how much powdered milk, and then I might not have to always figure it out. But for right now, I see my 757, I got 753. 1,211 grams of powder should give me my mix. So another little bowl on the scale, zero it out. I need 1,200 grams. This is my pre-mixed, ready to go. Okay, I got 1207, I need 1211, that's close enough for me. All right, nothing too fancy, good old kitchen fork. So right now, here's my liquid mix. I put about half the dry mix in there for now. Now when it's starting to clump up like that, you know you're getting close. And you see how it's pulling away from the bowl? That's another sign. Now this is where you got to decide if you want it to be runny, if you want it to be thick and dry. Now there's a happy medium. Thick and dry, you'll be fighting to get it through the gun to make your sausages. and it expands greatly once the sausage comes out of the gun. So now you might not get a good roll on your boilie. So it's pulling away from the bowl right now, but it's still on the runny side because I could still get through it with my fork. So this is where I start adding a little bit at a time. And this is where I got to go in with my gloves. So you'll see what happens there, right? It pulls away from the bowl. There's almost no mess, considering I got all kinds of sugars in here. It's still staying manageable. It's soft right now, but give it 5 minutes. And it hardens. The powders soak up the liquids. It expands and it gets harder. So
Now that's a boilie.
that's a boilie. Now, considering it is sticky, I'm treating it just like as if you were making pasta or baking the bread. I take the boilie mix, the dry mix, put it on there, let it dry a little bit. I usually take away my utensils, wash them, and by the time I'm done there, it's ready to put in the gun. Let's get it in the gun. So this comes out to approximately a 2 kilo mix. There you go, 1839, so it's just a little less than 2 kilos. I could only get half of this in my sausage gun. So okay, before we do that, let's talk about the sausage gun. They're basic caulking guns. That's what they are. I thought I needed a name brand Boilies sausage gun. They sell them at Bass Pro to make sausage. You just change the ends. They sell them at the hardware store for caulking. On Amazon, there's all kinds of them. Now the tips on the gun. This is where I've learned. I got the gun, all kinds of tips. I got a 14 mil rolling bed. I figured I got to cut my nozzle at 14 mil and I'm good to go. Pumped out all my boilies at 14 mil. They got on the table. I couldn't roll them. They made a mess. Didn't work out at all. What happened is that it expanded once it come out of the nozzle. There wasn't enough room to roll it, and what happens is that they come out hollow. I got some old ones here. It's hard to explain. They come out flat, and they got a hole in the middle. That's when your sausage is too big. Now your sausage too small, nothing wrong with that. They make a beautiful little barrel. I love barrels. So that's what happens when your nozzle is too small. When it's just perfect, you get a nice round boilie. So the nozzles have to be a couple mil smaller, if not even smaller than that. So for example, for my 14 mil bed, I need an 11.5 ID opening on my nozzle to roll me a 14 mil boilie. So yeah, keep that in mind. But I tell you, I was really disappointed once I had everything ready to go. And my first couple batches, I struggled with them until I found out more what I had to do. And now I can't get enough of it. That's all I want to do. So I'm going to make a sausage for my gun. Put this one to the side, and now it's going to be harder when I get back to it. And we don't want them too hard, because then they don't come out of the sausage gun. But right now, when you're squeezing around manually, take my advice. A little bit of a looser mix will come out of the gun a lot better. Here's my beautiful mix. I'm going to squeeze out as many sausages as I could even before I start rolling. So again, I'm going to put some of my dry mix on there. So here we go. And it's almost like a little bit of a pulling action. Because if you hesitate, it'll bunch up and it will get thicker. And you don't want thicker. If your sausage is a little bit thinner diameter than what you need, it'll work good. But if it's a bigger diameter, you're not making a quality boilie anymore. Now some people might think, don't make a difference. You know, the carp will just scoop it up no matter what shape it is. And you're right. At this point, I roll it in the dry mix. Nice trick. Keeps everything manageable. All my sausages are made. I tried to make them approximately the same length as my table. And I put some of the dry mix on everything. Stops anything from sticking, and we're good to go. You don't have to go too crazy back and forth. Push her onto the table. There you go. Okay. Just move back on the table. You can pull that sausage out a little bit if you want to make it into another groove. No problem. She's in her track. Lift her up a little bit. Grab it. A little shake. Push her onto the table. It's that easy. No mystery. Once you get efficient at it, you can really pump them out in no time at all. Right on. Boilies are all rolled. Thanks to some help with my good old friend, the Green Bastard. Gun's empty. Still got some product in the nozzle. That's no big deal. I'm going to save that and freeze it and try to use it as some kind of paste during the summer. Maybe I can put it over top of pop-ups, cork balls. I'll save this. I've got enough boilies there. So now, after they're all rolled, you notice I put a lot of powder on them. So that keeps them all nice and manageable. Nothing sticks together. Beautiful carp eggs. And we're going to go to the water and we're going to boil them. They say a 14 mil boilie, it'll boil for 90 minutes. Usually they say to boil them until they float to the top. Well, I've heard other people say that if you boil them too long, it takes all the flavor out of it. Well, I put some good flavor in them. I want that to stay in there. So 90 minutes is good for me, whether they're floating or not.
Seconds.
90 seconds, yeah, not 90 minutes. Gonna have to correct that. Thanks, Gerald. Okay, so I'll boil them for 90 minutes, and then I put them on my screen bed with a dishcloth and some towels. And I go from the boiling water to there, dry them up a little bit. Then I'll take them off the towels and I'll let them dry on the wire mesh. Found these on my walk one day, a couple years ago on the side of the road. And I said, wow, that would be great for boilies. And I've been making boilies since. Okay, she's set. I try not doing too big of a batch at a time. That's plenty for me right there. Any more than that, it'll take your water off the boil. And you'll just have to leave them in there longer and it'll just suck the flavor right out of them. Nothing sticks. They're sitting there right nice. It did go off the boil for right now. Let's see what happens. They're starting to come up to the top. As long as a couple are on the top, half of them are floating, I'm good with that. 90 seconds. Good to go. Okay, they've been draining on this a little bit. I put a towel over top of them. I roll them in my hands. And I roll them down to the other end. And every time they roll, they dry a little more. Put them on the end. And make room for the next batch. Last batch to dry a little bit on my towel. Takes all the excess water off of them. So now they dry overnight. Tomorrow I'll vacuum pack them, put them in the freezer. This is the first year I'm vacuum pack them. I'm vacuum packing them because last year I just put them in regular Ziploc bags, freezer bags, but I took them out in the summer and they were starting to freeze and burn. So yeah, I get it. So now vacuum packed in the food saver. I think they'll last longer. And by the time I take them out in the summer into the fall, they should be good to go. So I guess that's all I can tell you about making boilies. It wasn't that bad, was it? It's not that hard. There's no big mystery. Practice makes perfect. If you want it that bad, you're going to learn how to make them. And there's no better feeling than catching a fish on some bait you made yourself. Glad I was able to share it with you. Tight line to everybody.